So today we are going to learn what are Django ORMs. Like I have gone through each and every documentation of Django over there, and I have found out that there are so many different optimization techniques that we don't know yet. We are just playing with .get, .filter and .all. But apart from there are so many different kind of a Django optimization technique that I will be teaching you in this series of Django ORM. I have like overall of more than 4 years of experience in IT industry, and from that 3.5 years of experience in Django itself. But if someone would have told me that there are so many automation technique in Django in the start of my career, it would be a great thing for me. So please watch the video till end, because you are going to learn so many different kind of a concept over here that you will apply in your day-to-day life. So let's get into the video and see what are Django ORMs. So first we'll do normal imports and everything. Now I'll show you what are the models that we are using over here. We are using basically two models, author and blog model. These are the field, as you can see over here. You can check it out. And this is the foreign key, and inside the blog model. The main thing to take a note over here is that the table name for this model is author underscore model and blog underscore model for blog, because this table name will be the backbone of this for all the video, because I'll be showing you what kind of SQL queries getting fired in the backend by Django, so that you understand it better. Okay, now I have generated the random data. You could, if you want, you can generate a random data from here. This is the table of content which we are going to cover in this part of video. Okay, this is the normal query. The reset query will empty the query which has been fired, and this get query will give us all the query which we have generated. Okay, the first thing that we'll be learning today is model creation type. There are different kind of model creation, but today we'll be focusing on three main type over here. So the first, I want to create the author, like my author name and everything. So I'll be giving my author name, and then I'll be doing the .save method. Then we can use the object.create method to directly create. And if we want to create using dictionary, we can also use the dictionary. The main thing to check over here is what kind of a SQL query it get fired. So as you can see, the three main query it get fired over here. Basically, all are the same, doing the same work over here. Okay, now we'll be doing the reset so that we don't get any query again for the future reference. So now the main thing to understand in Django ORM is what are query set and how does it work over here. This query set has so many different kind of things in it. We'll be uncovering it today. Okay, first of all, the query sets are lazy. What do I mean by a query set of being lazy? So for example, if I do this thing, so we must be thinking that query must have been fired, but no, there has been no query has been fired till now, until and unless we use that variable which is consisting that query. So when I hit this thing, as you can see, now the query has been fired over here. So this is the meaning of being lazy, that you write the model or object or something, all get, filter, anything, but the query is not fired until and unless the query has the variable has been triggered. This is the meaning of being lazy. The most important thing to understand in query set is how does the memory management work in the query set. So I'll be showing you with the diagrams like how does it work, then I'll be showing you the demo of it. So as we can see over here, we have the three different type model over here. We have query set, we have database, and we have caching over here. Okay, so whenever we do this part, q is equals to block.objects.all, as we know, since it is lazy, it won't get fired. So but when I click on this part, when I hit q over here, the first and foremost thing it does is go and check in the caching. The query set has his own caching mechanism over here. Okay, the first thing it will go and check over here in the caching part over here. Then if it is not found in the caching over here, then it will go to the database and get data from there and put it in the caching. Then it will return it over here. So now when the second time when I hit this queue, it will go and take the data from the caching rather than going into the database and querying it again. This is the way that Django uses its caching mechanism to deal with the query sets. So I'll show you now with the demo. So for example, I hit this part over here. As we know, 1 minute, I'll reset it, and I hit it again. So as we know that there has been no query set has been fired till now. So for example, if I now visit each and every one, and this is the normal print statement. Okay, and if I do it again, so as we know, the query has been fired. Now if I hit it again, so q, then no query has been fired, q, for it doesn't matter how many times I hit it, it will get me the data from the query. This is how the query set manages data. But wait for it, there is more to it. So for example, now since it is getting the data from the query set, what if I go and update the data? So since I have got all the data, I'll get the one ID and I'll show you the dict now. So currently the name is police inside. This is the fake data, so forget it. And as you can see, the name is this part. What if I change the data of the first ID? I have changed the data, but since the data is coming from the caching, the data is not been updated over here. Now if I want the updated data, I have to go again and get the data. So now if I see over here, the name has been changed. This is how caching and everything works over here. And one more thing, if I hit it again, so I'll reset it again first, so it will be much more sensible. Now if I hit it again, there is no data over here. For the slicing part, now we have seen, now first what I did, I went through all the data for loop basically. Now if I do the slicing, if I want the second variable over here, I do the slicing. The data has been triggered, that offset is 2, we get in second data. What if I do the fifth part over here? It will go and do the query. Until unless we don't see all the data into the block model over here, it won't cache over there. In the case of slicing, so first we need to see all the data, then it will save the data into the caching. So this is how the memory management works in the Queryset. If you want to understand in more detail, like I think I must have told you what everything is in. I think I must have told you everything what is there inside over here. But if you want to understand more detail, you can go into this website. I will be linking for each and every part over here, Django documentation. So if you want to refer it in great detail, you can go over here and check it out. And one more thing, for now you don't need to take any notes or anything. I will be sharing you all the Jupyter notebooks and everything which I have in my GitHub repo. You can go and play with it later. For now, understand how does everything work. So now after, since we understood our Queryset and everything, now we'll go and start understanding what are the methods and everything which we have inside the Django, which help us. First and foremost method we'll be going through is the method which does not return Queryset. So there are two type of methods. Like if you remember, when we do dot filter, we get the Queryset, and when we do dot get, we get only a single object. So in this way, there are the different segment in which the method has been defined. So today we'll be learning all the methods which does not return Queryset. And in the next video, we'll be learning all the methods which will return Queryset and how optimization work in that. So first, this is the basic get method. All must have seen this normal get method. And if the data is not there, for example, if the data is something like this, so it will go into the block does not exist block, and it will return this part. Okay. If you want to see the query, what we can do is get underscore query. We want the last part, so -1. This is the query that has been fired over here. Okay, and by default in Django, by default it limits it itself to 21. If you want more than that, you can get it, but if it limits itself to 21, so the overflow of queries will not fired. Second is get or create. So for example, like traditionally how we used to do, like if the method is object, so if you want to see does this method exist or not. If the method if the object does not exist, we'll create the object. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll first check if the method exists or not. If it doesn't exist, then we'll go and create it over here. In the same way we used to do this part over here. Let me remove all the thing first. Let me copy this part and I'll remove. Yeah, so now we see nothing is fired. Now I'll hit it again, and yeah, this query has been fired over here. Okay, there's nothing wrong with this part or everything, but there is more optimized way which take care of the atomicity also. I'll explain what is atomicity, but it will take us see over here. So this has been done. Okay, so it doesn't found over here, so it got the data. Like I think it must have got the data over here. Yeah, if it doesn't, yeah, it will create. So now what if so this is the traditional way, but now this is the more efficient way to do it with the atomicity kind of a part over here. So now what we will do, it will do the filtering over id equal to 100, and if it is not found, it will, with this default method, it will go and create the method. So if you want to check it has been created, or the user default one, we can see in the created part, it state false, so means it got the id 100 and it has created data. If I do 10 like something kind of a thing, now it is true, that it means that it does not got this id, and now it has created this block over here. Okay, if you see the query fire, so you will see something different over here. So as you can see, the first of all, the query to get fire, it is like SQL begin, and then it is like a SQL commit. What does this mean? It means that in the begin part, it has stored the timing over here. Okay, now the query is in begin. So after begin, what all query get fired, it will be after that. Since the commit has been not triggered, commit means that it will go and store that the entry into the database. This all part has not been yet array to the database. Once this commit has been done, then the data has been committed. So for example, let's consider. So we have begin over here, and there are multiple 10 to 15 insert query over here. Okay, and one of the query fails. So what it will do, it will revert all the part to this begin part, and none of the entry will be happen in the database. Okay, this is the very important concept about atomicity. You will understand more in the depth when we go later in the video. This is not more basic part. So now second part, since we understood like what is get or create, it is normally we get the data, then we create it if it doesn't have the data. Second is in the same way there is an update or create. Okay, this is a very similar data. If we got the data, then we'll update it or we will create it. Okay, we'll get the last query. As you can see, normal update part over here. As you can see, there is no set or commit over here, but in the same part as we got the set and commit in the get or create, in the same part we'll get over here also. So now as we see, minus last 4, sorry, minus 4 to last. So we'll get all the data of this part. So as you can see over here, it is save point, release save point. This is the same part over here. Save point means it is the time of a period. Like for example, it is right now, let's consider it is a 10 o'clock. Okay, after 10 o'clock, whatever query has been done, we'll do this query. The query has not been committed to database. It has been saved to the save point of this index over here. Once all the query has been done, it will release this save point. Release means now you can go and commit it. So once that save point has been released, then it will go into database and commit the query into database. So that's the useful of this update or create or get or create a query to do. It automatically handles the atomicity. If you want to do, you can manually also handle the atomicity. It is supported by the Django. You can go and find the Django documentation, or I will give you the link in the description. Okay. So this so now we'll move to the next object, bulk underscore create. So normally what we used to do, we used to go and create a single model over here. So but what's the difficulty over there? If we go and do the single save over there, it will do insert again and again. This is a very waste of time, and it takes a lot of time. For example, let's consider we have a lakhs of data to create over here. We can't go and do insert. There will be too much of a redirection. For example, we go to Python to database to Python to database Python. There will be lots of query over there. So bulk create, bulk updates come into the picture at that time. So for example, if I want to reset query, no query has been fired. Now if I do this object query, and now if I see only single query has been fired. Just forget now this thing. I think you must have understood this part. So as you can see over here, into the single query, all 3 object has been created. In the same way, bulk update, it in single query updates all 3 part over here. Okay, it works in the same way. So as you can see, begin, update, all 3 has been updated at a single time with the single query. So whenever you want to create or update the bulk data, you should use this bulk update and bulk create over here. As you can see, as you might have noticed, in the random data also we have used bulk create and bulk create only to create the data. That's the reason it's working so fast. If you want to play with that number, you can play with that number, and you will realize how slow traditional query is. Okay, now we'll move to count. So for example, like we want to get how many rows are there in the database. So what we'll do, we'll get the object. So first let's and not optimized way, we'll find the length of this. What will query it will be? Query will be made that SQL query, get this name and it will give the count me. Okay, but I'll write the name value also. Okay, so 1060, and if I write this part again, I'll show you something more interesting also. If I see do the block.object.count, it will give me same method over here. As you can see, the query is different. Over here, it was getting all the data like block.id, name, author ID. I don't need this. I only need the count. So what will it will do? Select count star from this model over here. So it got me count over here. This is how it works. We don't need unnecessary data. So it hides the unnecessary data, only give the required data. Okay. And now next is the latest, earliest, last and first. Okay. So I'll first explain latest and earliest. So what does the latest mean? So for example, there are multiple columns in the database. I want the latest data according to which this column. For example, ID column. ID column, you can stack multiple columns over here. I have stacked ID and creation date. So I will get the latest data according to ID and creation date. As you can see, the query is fired over here. As you can see, descending according to creation date and block model means ID, like ID over here. Okay, and the opposite is earliest. I want the earliest data according to ID kind of a thing. So this is the same way ascending, as you can see over here. Okay, and what is the last and earliest? As you can see in the earliest and latest, we are passing the column name over here. In last and first does not take any column name. It only it is a normal thing. Block.object.last. It will give me the latest query in the block model, not according to the column. Latest query into the block model. This is the normal thing, and the opposite is the first latest first query. Now exist. Now for example, I want to see that does this blog exist with the name something one. So what I will do, I will do the object, and if object, then I will make the query over here. Okay. Now one more caching example you will see over here. If object dot exist, it will over here. As you can see, the same query has been fired. This is because of caching. If I want to test exist again, because the object has been already been cached. If I want to test the exist again, I will go and run it again, and now I will see. As you can see, now the query has been different. So as you can see, like I want to only check does this object exist or not. So why would I get the ID, name, author, and everything? I don't want that. I just want to check the exist. So the normal query will fire a select one from the block model, where block model name is something one. That's it. This is way faster than this query. All the query I'm telling you over here will be way more faster when you have lots and lots of data. Okay. Now second, after this is the contains. Now contains means that does this object exist in like does this row does this object exist in this query set? Okay. Till now what we were doing, we were exist was checking that does this name something exist in the database. Okay. Now we'll check that does this object single instance does it exist in the query set. So for that reason we are using the filter over here. Okay. So I will do over here, and what query it will fire? Queries made this part where b not name is something. Okay. Now this will do the caching part over here, and now we'll see the content part over here. So this is normally just checking does this object, I have just taken the zero object, does this zero object exist into this the grand filtration of objects. Okay. Now the last is the normal delete part. It will just delete the query whatever the filtering option we give over here. Okay. And now the main thing we'll see over here, update. How does the update work? Update, this is the very important thing. Please pay attention over here. Okay. The one more thing to note is that update does not call the save method. Okay. So for that reason, the pre-save and post-save signal won't work. But why does this happen? So like how does this update work if it doesn't fire like a pre-save and post-save signal? So what it happens now? So whenever we want this query, so for example, we have got this queue over here. Okay. Now I will use the queue of 0. I will save it in the like P model over here. So I have now the single instance. I have a single object over here. If I want to change something, for example, I want to change p dot age equal to like 15, then p dot save. Now what will happen over here? So first of all, when I want this query, okay, this query, the query will fire over here, and it will save in the cache, and I will use that part over here. Now I'm changing the value over here, then I'm saving it. Okay. Now what is happening over here? When I'm doing this thing, I am going to database first time. Okay. Then I'm coming to the my Python code again. I am changing the value. Then I'm saving it. Then I'm going to the database and saving the value over there. But this is too much of headache. I just want to change the value over here. So what does the update do? Update directly go to the database and change it over there only, instead of bringing the value to our system. So what update will do? Like it will work like this. So it will do like p dot update. Okay, and then age equal to 15 kind of a thing. Okay, this is done. This is the normal thing it will do over here. Now what this will do? This will just take this query, go and run into database and save it over here. That's it. There will be no to and fro. So that's the reason there is no save method call. There is nothing over here. Just update part over here. I'll show the demo over here. Okay. So when we see over here, what is it? Our not optimized way. We would get the block object. We would change the name, and then we would do the save. This would get a query would get fired. Just we need to do this part. Object or filter ID equal to 1, update name equal to this. That's it. Just this small query will get fired, and nothing will come to our system. So there will be no. This is way efficient than this part over here. Okay, and this is aggregate. I think you might have understood like what is update. If you want to, there is so many things in update part over here. If you understand in detail, you can go in Django documentation and understand it from there. So the next one is like aggregate over here. So like let's reset it first, and so there is no query. Like, okay, so how does the update work? Update just go into the database and get all the queries from there and update it over there only. In the same way, aggregate function, what did aggregate function do? Instead of bringing the data into our system and doing the calculation, aggregate does the calculation inside the database and bring it data over here. In the same way, like I have a blog over here and I have the author over there. If I want to get all the count of the author, okay, so what I will do, I'll just do this part and I'll got the author underscore count is equal to 1002. Okay, so what is doing? Select count, okay, blog model author ID as blog underscore author underscore count from blog underscore model. So what it means that inside the blog, like how many blog I have, this is a normal file to query, okay, don't rely on this thing everything, but this is for the example. Like how many blog I have, I'll show you. I have blog dot objects dot all, okay, and I'll do the count part over here. Okay, I just did the count. We have count. We just learned count. We have 1006. Okay, and out of this 1006 blog, how many blog has the author? There are according to this, there are 4 model which doesn't have any author. Okay, this is the normal query to find how many blog have authors. Okay, so this is how it works. Like if we don't give any kind of a name, it automatically associates the name. For example, we have not given any kind of a name over here, so it is giving author underscore count. If you want to give, we can give a name, our own personalized name. So over here, I have given my own personalized name. So as you can see, number of entries is equal to 1002. Okay, this is how the normal aggregate works, and there are so many different kind of functions that aggregates provide. So for example, as you can see over here, so we have like different kind of function like average, count, max, mean, deviation, sum. There are very much different kind of function you can use aggregate over there to perform the mathematical calculation into the database rather than bringing the data into a system and doing the calculation. Okay, and the last one is reverse foreign key. So for example, now I can go from blog to author. Okay, since my author is my parent and blog is my child, I can go from my child to parent. But what if I want to come from parent to my child? So that's where this reverse foreign key concept come over here. So I will get one author. I want to get all the blog of my author. Okay, so what I can do, I can write one author object dot. This is the related name. This is I will show you what the related names are. So models. This is my model over here. Yeah, so this is my model over here, as you can see. So this is the related name inside my blog model having the author as a foreign key. Okay, so this is the related name, and if I do this part, I got all the blog of author having ID 5. If you don't provide related name, okay, then how it will work? If we don't provide this part over here, then the model name into full lowercase, as you can see, full lowercase underscore set, then this will work like this part over here. Okay, but this won't work right now because I have given the related name. That's the reason this is not working. Okay, so the query made is this over here. Okay, so I think you might have got some kind of information, some kind of this you might have found this some informative video. I will be giving this a whole Jupyter notebook into my from my GitHub repo. You can go and download it from there, and you can play it however you want. And there are more videos from this series will be coming where I'll be covering ORM in more depth. I hope you might have found this video informative. If you found this video informative, please subscribe to my channel because it helps me a lot to make such videos for you. If you found this video informative and everything, please share it with a friend who doesn't know how this Django ORM work and are working with a normal traditional get filter and everything. And like the video, comment your thought, like what kind of more information I can bring, what I can improve and everything. Okay, we'll meet in the next video. Till then, take care.